Welcome back to the 24 Days of Personal Branding Challenge. It's day 20. And today you'll learn everything you need to know about personal brand logos. You'll learn if you need one, how to create one, and how to use it. So a couple of reminders before we get into everything about your logos is number one, I am going live inside of this group, the PrettyAF Facebook community, every Tuesday at 9 a.m. PST. Right now, I'm finishing up the 24 Days of Personal Branding Challenge. So every Tuesday, I'm doing one of the full trainings. And then every Tuesday and Thursday, there's a new podcast episode on the PrettyAF Powerhouse podcast. On Tuesdays, it's the quick tip recap episode. And on Thursday, it'll be the full training of the live that I did that week on Tuesday. If you want all the replays in one place, nice and organized with the book workbooks and everything you need to completely go through the personal branding challenge, just click the link in the show notes or in the description or comments, depending on where you're listening or watching this. And all you'll need to do is put in your name and your email, and you'll be able to get access to the full program there. Also, I am doing 5 one-on-one coaching spots. I said I was going to explain that in this lesson episode, so I'm going to do that now. So with being pregnant, having a baby, it's become even more important to me to streamline my business and not be doing so many different things. So I'm really trying to hone in on and focus in on one offer that I'm pretty much going to go all in on and make it the best version of that one thing that it can be. And I want to get a better idea of what exactly would help and support you guys, which is why I'm doing the 5 one-on-one coaching spots so that I can talk to you and understand where you're at and understand how I can help you. These spots, it's a 1-hour one-on-one coaching call with me. It's $55, which is way less than any coaching I've done in the past few years. And the reason for that is because I'm really trying to, it'll be helpful to you because I will be coaching you and answering your questions during that call, but it's also to help me create this next offer. If you do sign up for one of those spots, you will get a discount if you then choose to join the program once it launches. And think about it too, it will probably be something that's really going to support you, considering it's going to be based on what you tell me you need support with during that call. So on those calls, I'm going to look at your current online presence, your personal brand, and answer any questions you have. I'll give you next steps and feedback. But then that'll be the kind of extent of that offer. And then the actual program is going to be a much deeper dive type of thing. When I first launch it, I will probably do some type of group coaching with it. I'm thinking something around personal branding or online presence, which is why I want to do those calls to kind of get better clarity around that, just being completely transparent with that. But I really don't offer one-on-one coaching calls, normally one-off like that, and normally definitely not at that price point. So if you've been looking for support with me, that is definitely a good opportunity for you. And then also keep in mind that you will then also be able to join the program if you'd like at a discounted rate for hopping on one of those calls. So if you were wondering why there was no show last week, it was because I was sick, and I'm trying to do a better job about listening to my body now that I'm pregnant. A lot of times I would just kind of push through that, but I've realized that when I do that, I end up sick for like several weeks. I didn't really work on Monday or Tuesday, and I was actually feeling pretty great by Wednesday. So I'm glad that that showed me that it's worth it to just take those days off versus prolonging it and feeling like crap for weeks on end, right? And not really being able to show up fully for a much longer time. So now that we got all the updates out of the way, let's get into this actual training. So first off, what is a personal brand logo? So a personal brand logo is a graphic mark, emblem, or symbol used to aid and promote public identification and recognition. Are those the same word? For your personal brand. It can be an image or your name or stage name, depending on what you're going by, in a specific font and color. So, for example, my personal brand logo is just my name, Azalee Maslow. It's in the kind of bright pink color that I use throughout all my branding, and it's in a specific cursive kind of font. So a lot of you, your personal brand logo is just going to be your name in maybe your secondary font that you chose and one of your brand colors. But in this, I'm going to go through the benefits, how to pick one, all those types of things. And then there's also the recap episode if you're just needing a refresher or you don't want to go through the full training, don't have time for it. That's there for you as well. That's already up on the podcast. So what are the benefits of having a personal brand logo? Two things. Number one, it's going to help you position yourself as an authority. I'm sorry, there's so many typos in this workbook. I need to fix that. But a personal brand logo can help you be more recognizable and remembered. It can also build trust by positioning you as an established personal brand. It can also help you stand out as a leader in your niche. So just being able to have that and then consistently using it on things, it just helps you create a more polished look overall. Number two, it's going to make your life easier. Having a personal brand logo is just another step in easily positioning yourself as a leader in your niche. Having it will make it easy to create documents, content, and merch that looks like it's from a trusted leader versus a random person. So this is kind of the big thing with personal brands in general, and why I think it's so important to build your personal brand is because there can be two people that have the same exact experience, education, what they do is exactly the same. But if one of them knows how to position themselves online and has a personal brand that they're strategic about, and one of them doesn't do that and just doesn't know how to show up in a consistent, polished, professional way, the person that has a personal brand is going to naturally get more clients, opportunities, things like that, but they can also charge more because of that. So that's kind of the overall benefit of anything having to do with upgrading your personal brand. But with the personal brand logo specifically, being able to just have that logo that you can put on different things is just going to help you position yourself so much better and have people look at you like you're an actual business, you're taking this seriously, you're an authority in this space versus you just randomly decided to start doing this offer. So it just kind of builds trust and positions you in a much better way. We're also going to go into how to actually use it so that it does give you those benefits. So as always, I'm going through the questions and the steps inside of the workbook. If you need a copy of that, just click the link in the description or the show notes and sign up for the challenge. It's absolutely free. You just need to put your name and your email, and you'll be able to see all the replays for the challenge and get all the workbooks. It'll also link to all of the podcast episodes, so you can then have access to it forever and be able to easily click into like the recap episodes, things like that. So tips on creating your personal brand logo. 3 things. Number 1, make sure it aligns with the rest of your personal brand elements. So think about the aesthetic that you put together on your Pinterest board. Think about your brand colors, the vibe, all these different things. You want it to represent all those different elements. If you think about just different brands, for example, if you think about Hot Topics logo versus Victoria's Secret's logo or the icing logo, you can kind of get a vibe of what is going to be inside of that store. And you want the same thing for you and your personal brand. You want when people see it, they can instantly start to understand who you are, what your vibe is, what you maybe do, all those types of things. And that's kind of the cool thing about having these different elements, is that the time for someone to click who you are and what you do and what your kind of essence is so much quicker. And that means people trust you quicker, people know you quicker, and people buy from you quicker, right? So the second tip is to make it clear and easy to read. I think unless you are a very established personal brand or business, or people already know you, you need to create something that clearly says what your name is. So the longer someone is well known, for example, all of Paris Hilton's merchandise says PH on it versus her full spelled out name as a logo. But that's okay because she's already so well known, right? You don't want people to see your logo and not clearly be able to see and understand who it is if they've never heard of you before. Number 3, consider what it'll look like on different mediums. So if you're thinking about doing like a super skinny font, but then you know you're going to want to have certain types of merchandise, maybe t-shirts or something, and maybe that won't be able to really show on a shirt, you might want to reconsider that. Or if it's something that in certain prints, it just kind of gets mushed together and is hard to read. So just think about the different spaces that you might be using this. And even if it's going to be super tiny, say in the corner of a social media post, you still want it to be very clear. So keep that in mind as well. You don't want it to seem like a squiggly mark in the corner, right? So let's go through the steps now on how to create your personal brand logo. So number 1 is find other personal brand logos that you like. And this could also be logos of companies that you like that are similar aesthetic as you, but I do think it's important to look specifically for personal brand ones, just because a lot of times with other brands, business brands, they're a little more lenient on being more creative and abstract. Whereas with your personal brand logo, when you're trying to establish your name, that might not be what you're going for. But even gathering business ones, like my example earlier of Victoria's Secrets versus Hot Topic, if your style and aesthetic is more Hot Topic, then having that to reference is going to be helpful, whether you're then creating the logo or you're hiring someone, just to be able to see that, right? So something I like to do is create a Pinterest board of these logos. You can kind of visually see the different ones that you like all together, and maybe remove some that don't align with everything else. And then you can also, step 2 is then to gather your other personal brand elements. And later in it, you're going to kind of review everything. So if you have that Pinterest board with your logos and the board of your aesthetic, you'll be able to compare them and make sure that they align with each other, right? So number 1 was find other personal brand logos you like. Number 2, gather your other personal brand elements, your colors, your fonts, your vibe, your aesthetic, everything we've done so far. Number 3, decide if you're going to create your own personal brand logo or if you're going to hire someone to create it for you. So if you, so the step number 4, if you create your own, is to review the logos you like and your personal brand elements. Keeping these in mind, you'll create your logo. So you might be thinking, how the heck do I create a logo? So I recommend 2 different programs. Canva is what I have used to create my own logo and help clients create theirs. So if you go to, which this link will be in the workbook, canva.com/create/logos, they will give you tips and steps on creating a logo inside of Canva for free. So that's a great option if you're not ready to hire someone. When I was researching for this episode, I saw that Fiverr now has a AI generated logo maker. So that's also an option to help you create a logo. Inside Canva, they do also have templates that you can use as well. I have heard that technically, if you create a logo inside of Canva, you don't own it. Canva owns any graphics that you create in there. So if you're planning on building this huge brand, you might want to keep that in mind, or just know down the road you're going to want to hire someone to create one for you so that you don't run into those issues down the road, especially if you're using the logo on merchandise and things like that. So step number 4, if you're hiring a designer instead of creating your own, is to, again, review the logos you like in your personal brand elements and put them all in a folder so it'll be easy to share with your designer. So you could share your personal brand kit or just all the elements in a folder. In a later lesson, I'm going to walk you through how to actually put together your personal brand kit with everything we've done. But if you head to a freelancer website and review the work of graphic designers, and then you're going to choose a designer that has done work similar to the logo that you're looking for, similar to the style that you're looking for. So I hired someone when I created the PrettyAF logo. And I just found someone that already created logos that were similar to the one that I was looking for. So I knew that they would be able to create what it was that I was looking for, right? Because they'd already done ones that are similar to him. So a couple of websites that you can hire a freelancer on are Fiverr.com, Upwork, and Etsy. And also with creating these, sometimes they will include your brand fonts, your brand colors. So you might want to, if you know you're going to hire someone, do this portion earlier on. So then they'll be able to support you in choosing those exact color codes. For example, with PrettyAF, they chose the colors for me, but I had told them that I wanted it to be lighter pinks, more neutral grays, and they picked colors that match that, but that went together and looked good in the logo, right? And then they also chose my primary and secondary fonts for me, and then they put it all on a one pager for me as well. So now you should have your logo once you've gone through all those steps, whether you created it yourself or you hired someone to do it for you. So here is how to actually make use of that logo now. So number one, you can use it as a watermark on your content. So whether you're creating a graphic or posting a photo or a video, you can use a transparent background on your logo. That's another thing you want to consider. Is your logo going to look good without a backdrop on it? And you can put it in the corner of any of your content to kind of protect yourself. So if someone copies it and reposts it, it'll have your logo on there still. People can see where it originally came from, and it looks more polished and just like writing your username on there. And then it also just looks more polished overall. You can also use it on your website. So I switched my website from azaleemaslow.com to PrettyAF Powerhouse.com. But right now I still have my personal brand logo on that website. So if you look in the top left corner, you'll see my Azalee Maslow logo there. So that's a place that there's commonly a logo on websites. You can put it on anything physical. So if you're going to create merchandise, any type of like coffee cups or shirts, you might want to have your logo on there. If you have merchandise and you don't want the logo actually printed on it, you might have it on the tags of the merchandise. If you have any type of postcards or letterheads, things like that, those are great places to put it. So then it just aligns with your brand more. If you use any type of workbooks, like throughout this training, I have these workbooks, and on this one doesn't have it, but certain workbooks that I put together do have my actual logo on it. So that's an option as well. And you're going to put it into your personal brand kit, which I said we're going to walk through in a later lesson. And then you can also put it wherever you organize your content. So I believe in our earlier episode, when we were talking about photos, I talked about putting those photos in your videos into folders on a cloud drive and an external hard drive. So your logo would be something you would want to put with those as well. If you have a folder that's like content, you're going to have then folders inside of that that are brand elements, which is going to be your fonts, your logos, your colors. You're going to have a folder that's photos, a folder that's graphics, and a folder that is photos. You can also create templates that will have your logo on it for different files or documents that you frequently use. So say you sent out contracts to your clients, you can go into the program and add it into your templates. So then it'll automatically be set up and be on brand for you. You can put it on, if you do a newsletter or an email, you can put it in your email signature. So anywhere that you're contacting clients or potential clients that you're repeatedly using the same thing, the same template, be sure to just put it in there, and it's going to help you elevate your personal brand. And then finally, add it into any of the programs that you use. So sometimes you're able to save different images inside of programs that you use. So if you use like HoneyBook, to send out your contracts, or Kajabi for your website, or Canva to create your graphics, you're going to want to make sure that it's saved inside of there. So then it's just easy to access. And if you have different versions of your logo, make sure that you upload all of them so then you can access them all there. So originally I was going to also get into favicons, probably not saying that right, and icons, which I decided to leave out, but I'm going to just kind of go over a little bit right now. So favicons is the little icon on your website. If you look at the tab, if you go to any bigger website, like say you go to Facebook, their little logo is in that top left corner of the tab. So if you have your own website, you're able to add in that little graphic. So that might be something you want to consider when you're having your logo created or you're creating it yourself. If you want to also have something like that created for you, so you can use it for that, or you can also use that graphic in things like the corner of your content or different things that it wouldn't make sense to have your logo. For example, one of my clients, he uses a pineapple in a lot of his personal branding. So we'll sometimes use the pineapple on graphics to kind of brand it to him without just slapping his actual name on the graphic. We'll do that within workbooks and things like that too, but we could also use that for his website, favicon. And then there's also icons. If you're wanting to use different graphic images for your brand, you might want to have custom little icons created. So for the PrettyAF brand, for example, we have like a little graphic of Gonzo, little luggages. So originally, when I launched PrettyAF, it was much more of a lifestyle brand. So that's why I had those icons created, because I knew then I could use them for highlights on Instagram. I could use them. I use them on different merchandise. Like I did a water bottle with all the little icons on it and a wine glass with Gonzo's little icon on it. So just think about that too. That might be an option. Or if you are hiring someone, they might have that within their package for the logo with the colors and all those things. So that is everything for this episode. If you're interested in one of those spots to do a one-on-one coaching call with me, be sure to book that as soon as possible. I'm only doing the calls within the next couple of weeks, and I'm only booking 5 of them. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to grab that spot. It's only $55. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you're looking for more support with your personal brand, your online presence, to get that one-on-one support from me. So that's everything I have for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.